Hi, I'm Tiffany Stuckey with ArtsAltoona Talks. We're here at the Altoona Area High School with Scott Pappal, who is the elementary band director here at Altoona, and Scott Sheehan, who is the Hollidaysburg Area High School band director. And we're really excited to talk about the Altoona Brass Collective. So as always, thank you for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe to ArtsAltoona Talks. So to begin, the Altoona Brass Collective, what is that?
The Altoona Brass Collective is an 18-piece brass choir, and we do have a drummer as well. And it's based here in Altoona and Hollidaysburg. And we rehearse here and give concerts mainly in Blair County, although we're starting to branch out a little bit into surrounding counties.
And whenever you say brass choir, like what all instruments does that encompass?
We have 5 main sections to the group: trumpets, and if you see one of our shows, the trumpet section switches between a large number of trumpets. So there will be 5 trumpet players, but there are 20 different trumpets physically on stage that they're switching around between. There are French horns, and it's complicated, so I'll let this guy answer that.
Right.
I'll talk about that in a second.
We have French horns and trombones, euphoniums, which are the one that typically the public does not know what it is. It looks like a baby tuba. And then tubas, of course.
Right.
And of course our drummer.
Okay.
So just as a quick note here about the trumpets. So we have piccolo trumpets, we have cornets, we have regular B-flat trumpets, which is what you would start with like in 4th grade or in elementary school. Several of us play flugelhorn. In fact, I play flugelhorn probably 75 to 80% of the time.
That's an awesome name.
Then there are, flugelhorn. It's really cool. It's a conical bore, not to get too technical, but it sounds kind of as a cross between a trumpet and a French horn. So a lot of times I sit right beside Scott, who plays French horn, and we kind of get that more maybe mellow sound than just a regular trumpet. And then we have some specialty trumpets like some E-flat cornets and things like that. So we have a whole gamut of color and sounds that we can create. And then you throw mutes into those instruments, and it's pretty exciting.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Now, how did it get its start? Because it didn't always exist.
Right.
So,
Well, in various forms, all of us in the group most of us had been playing together in smaller groups, quartets, quintets, trios, and it was such a mix, and we substituted in these groups frequently, and finally we were standing around about exactly two years ago on Memorial Day weekend, and we were on a street corner in Crescent after playing a church service, and I think there were about 6 of us, and we remarked, you know what? Why are we not all combining forces into a larger group that would be much more versatile? And we started talking about how each of us has a strength. Right. And if we pulled those strengths, we call it undefeatable, but we're brass players, we tend towards the drama. But we were thinking between all of our strengths, we would have a group that would be very, very strong, would have a lot to offer. And there's a demand for that here too.
That's where the word collective comes in too, because we don't necessarily have just one leader of the group. Right. A lot of us have band directing experience, or the one person that I guess is pretty exclusive to this group is Scott. He writes all of our arrangements for us, so every note that's played is tailored specifically for our group, which is amazing. But in terms of the collective, we all, like Scott said, have different strengths, and so at various times any one of us could be leading a rehearsal or making comments about this or that. We do have a conductor, but he's more or less there to keep us together, not necessarily to rehearse us, say like a conductor for the symphony. It doesn't work that way. So we're all contributing various ideas about what music we're going to play and ask Scott to write. He's got a very long list. Or various ideas about maybe how we interpret a certain piece of music. So it really is a collaborative effort, which has been very, very cool experience for all of us. I think we're all better players and musicians because we challenge each other and we push each other to really commit to making this a great musical experience for us as well as for the community.
And where do you typically play? Like, what are the venues? Is it always is it private event? Is it scheduled?
We have played at the Arts Festival in Altoona several times. We have played at the Mishler several times. We have started to play in Johnstown. They have a gorgeous venue over there that is called the Cathedral. that is an open space used for concerts. We're playing on actually 2 concert series over there this year. We are playing at the Penn State Arboretum. That's a massive feather both in our cap and for us representing Blair County. That's coming up in June.
Okay.
And we are playing at Canal Basin Park this summer, and typically churches.
Yeah, we've given 2 fairly large concerts at 2 different churches in Hollidaysburg. So some are, to answer your question too, some of our concerts are open to the public and anybody can come and so on, and then some are closed events, private events, and so on.
Awesome. Now, do you have any memorable responses to, or maybe just memories together that stand out since you formed the group 2 years ago?
I know for me, the first concert that we played, it was special, and I will always treasure that memory of getting to the end and feeling like we had made something completely brand new from scratch. And I was so proud of that, but I also felt a closeness with the other guys and girls that I just haven't felt very often with any groups that I played with. It was special to me.
I would agree with that, and I would say that as the group has evolved, I look forward to each upcoming performance more than I did the last one, just because I think we are more of a family maybe in a way, and I think we're growing musically and the quality of the group keeps getting better, so I kind of just get excited for the next thing and to see what next arrangement Scott's going to put out. We have this big summer spectacular that we're going to debut later in the summer that's like 15 minutes of Beach Boys and Buffett, it's going to be crazy and fun, and we've just some really great music out there. So I would say definitely the first concert, but I think also just to always see what's next and what's coming is exciting.
Right. Now, both of you are really incredible educators who have really blessed this area by doing an exceptional job at what you do. Why do you feel that music is so crucial, especially to teach young people? Why is it such an important thing in their lives?
Music is a language, and it reaches that child that might not be reached through math or through reading or through science or through any other subject that's taught in school. So, and I've seen that many times. For a lot of my kids, their safe space is the band room. I mean, that's that place that they can come during a day when everything else in their life is falling apart. And all of us in the group have had that. The other high school band directors, they've all experienced that time when the kids are having something that they just can't put into words, they can't express. And music gives them a release, a way that they can express that safely. And it's just so vitally needed in our society right now.
I would add to that, I agree 100%, and I would add to that, I think music engages the brain in the way other subjects don't. And so there's a lot of research out there about part of how we know who we are in this world, and part of our discovery of our self-discovery is through music. In the same way that we learn, ouch, that's hot, or, don't touch that. We engage, our brains engage in music activity and help us to unlock creativity, expression, feelings, and those things are hard to quantify. And I think that's a challenge because we live in a data-driven society. We need those numbers, and sometimes there are things in this world that just can't be measured that way. It's more about the expression, as I said, and how that comes out. And because of that, those kids get attracted to the band room, and they want to come down there, and they want to belong to somewhere that makes them feel good. In today's society, there's so much that divides us and tears us apart, and I think music connects and brings people together, and it's very, very powerful, just absolutely powerful. I have literally, in my career, seen music save lives, and I hope that more folks can get that message, and people that are in decision-making roles can really support that in schools. It's just so incredibly important.
Awesome. Those are incredible answers.
And it's an active thing. When the kids are doing music, they are doing something. There's nothing passive about it. They're engaged. Every minute they're making music. They're involved in making something happen live right there.
This is going to sound a little biased, but so many of the educational reforms that have come around in the past 15, 20 years, the music folks go, we've been doing that. It's what we do. I remember an in-service about 3 years ago, and it was all about collaboration. My gosh, we have 150 kids collaborating every Friday night in the football field, It's part of what we do. It's kind of built in. And back to what I was saying about it being just as important as all those other life skills of how we find our way in the world, it's part of it. I think it's so important.
Absolutely. Now, one of the really cool things as I've been doing these interviews is showcasing how special Altoona really is and all the amazing things that are going on here and in Blair County. What brought you to Blair County, Altoona? What made you stay?
My wife, whom I met at college at music school at Duquesne in Pittsburgh, was from Altoona originally. So that's my connection to the area. But when I moved back here to take a music teaching job, we were very lucky because there were two jobs that were adjacent. There was a string teaching job in Hollidaysburg and a band teaching job in Altoona. I feel it's important to have things here for those of us that live in this county. So it's important that we have a symphony, we have a professional chorus, we have a brass band, we have a ballet, we have things that people live here can appreciate and go do and go see and be a part of and provide an educational opportunity for the kids to participate in. So I think I stay here because not that I'm anything great or I think I'm anything special, but I have a role here. There's something I can do that I can offer that's of value. And if we don't collectively offer that, that might not happen. Right. In a city like Pittsburgh, where you have 500,000 people in the greater metropolitan area, if somebody moves out of the area, there are 100 other people to take the spot. But here, we have 50,000 people instead of 500,000. So those of us that are dedicated to this craft of both making music and teaching it to young people, I feel like we have to own that, and we have to really kind of take that as a sacred trust, and we can't violate that. It's really important. We've got to keep the faith, as it were, and pass it on to the next generation.
Well said. For me, what Scott hinted on is it's opportunity. I remember being a kid. I grew up in Crescent, not too far from Altoona. And my dad would bring me down here when Maynard Ferguson, the great jazz trumpet player, would come every year into the area, either at the campus or at Keith Elementary. I think it might have been at Roosevelt at one point. But I can remember just being so excited, to see that concert and then you'd get to hear the Altoona Jazz Band, like, wow, my jazz band doesn't sound like this. And so it was a really exciting time. So not growing up immediately here, but close by, I knew there was a lot of opportunity. And then I taught elsewhere for 8 years. And then the position at Hollidaysburg opened up, and I wanted to come back. I knew that there was a lot of opportunity here, and then you get into the area, and then, like Scott said, it's that networking and meeting people that you can build something with musically. And there is definitely a strong tradition in Blair County and Altoona, specifically Hollidaysburg. I'd throw into there too, for great music and support for the arts. So your organization, this ArtsAltoona, that I would call relatively new, is really exciting to see a booster, a supporter that can really help to push these various opportunities and groups like ours and things out so that folks are aware and realize like this is pretty special and this is a great place to be because we have these things. And it's very symbiotic, I think, to make these opportunities available.
It's a good word.
Thanks.
Very good. So as we wrap up, maybe one last question. What are some, just to highlight again, what are some of the events that are coming up for the Altoona Brass Collective? What does the future hold?
We are playing on June 11th at the Arboretum in State College. We have a concert series that encompasses 3 concerts, the 18th of July in Duncansville at the Community Days, the 21st of July at Canal Basin Park in Hollidaysburg, and the 4th of August in Tyrone. is it Reservoir Park?
Yes,
I believe Reservoir Park. And those are going to be sort of interrelated. They'll be like the 3 offerings of the same concerts. We have some other occasions throughout the summer where smaller quartets and quintets are playing throughout the community. And we generally post those on our Facebook page or our Instagram page.
So check out Altoona Brass Collective on Facebook and Instagram, and you can find all this information there. Thank you, gentlemen, again for doing this. Now, audience, it's your turn to share. I hope that you'll join in the discussion by leaving a comment below. Did this video inspire you? Do you have a story that's relevant to our subscriber community in some way? If so, let us know in the comments. If you haven't had the opportunity, please like this video and look at our Facebook page at ArtsAltoona. We have a weekly newsletter that has something for everyone in Blair County and the region. And thank you, audience, for your part in ensuring that everyone knows how amazing the Blair County community is and about the people and organizations like Scott that help make it that way. We hope to see you next time at ArtsAltoona Talks.